Hi, it's Dee with DSys Photography, and I'm gonna just go over my Workflow Wonders action set and show you how to use it on a couple pictures. We're gonna do this one right here, and the first thing I do, and I shoot RAW, so I open in to ACR Double Camera RAW first, and I make any adjustments to white balance and exposure in there. You don't have to, but it's easier to fix it in ACR or fine-tune it better. And I'm just gonna go down a bit on this to help with that background. Use my white balance tool dropper and shoot a black shirt. We'll click it on there and see what colors. And her shoes got some white. I just find a neutral part. It's just gray. I like that gray. You click on whites, blacks, grays. I click until I find the color that looks best to my eye. This is the most close to real life for me. That was before and after. That's just 2 down exposure and a quick white balance fix. And then I open my image into CS6, or if you have elements, whatever you're using to edit in, open it in there. Alright, now once it's open, I will do any corrections to straighten the image out. And you can just click on the crop tool and use the straighten thing and find a straight line to run it down. There we go. I crop beforehand because my computer's very slow, so cropping with extra layers on top of it doesn't work for me. But if your computer's quick, you won't have to worry about that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, and this is the sidekicks. They're broken into different sections. Light, dark, kicks, contrast, color, outside, little color correctors for skin, for cosmetic, like eyes and all that stuff. And I just noticed that for some reason it's turned off on all those. Anyway, that was my issue. This is a skinny action to thin them down a little bit. I'm about to go in and fix these on my own actions that I messed up. Oops. Sharpening actions and softness to add like a bokeh if you want to increase the bokeh, or a warm blur. Like I'll show you, I'll run warm blur so you can see really quick what that one does. Mine, I just see it adds this warm softness to this image. And then I have them grouped. You can adjust it down, or you can open the group up and adjust differently, the warmth or the glow. If you don't want to glow on at all, you can turn it down all the way, or you can go up even stronger. And if it's too warm, go down on that. That's the warm blur. That's what that action's for. Just adds a warm softness to your image. I'd like that. Bokalicious, if you run it, and give it a minute. I should give you instructions, but I have accidentally turned off all my instructions, and I'll need to go and turn them all back on. It just says let it brush into background to add that smooth, bulky look. So it's a black layer mask. You're gonna grab a white, soft round brush. I'll just click 500. I'm at 50%, and you can change your opacity. I generally brush pretty high opacities, and then if I need to do any adjustments, I adjust my layer. But you can start at a low opacity and then just build on if that's your personal preference. I'll go a bit more. I'm trying to make it so you can really see what it does on the image. You'll see this little circle often because I have a computer that is too slow and I need to get a new one. Alright, so this is with it off, and with it on, as you see, it just softened up that background, adds that little bit of depth of focus to the background. The key is to make sure it looks as natural as possible. So the light and darks, you can add extra light. This does the overall image. Just a second. Alright, I think I've got them all back turned on. Sorry, I didn't want to. Alright, so extra light, it just adds extra light, tells you that it's going to alter it and make it brighter. So you want to make sure there's no clipping. You want your highlights. So you can adjust this down if it gets too bright. That's if you didn't adjust, like, I adjust my exposure beforehand, but if you didn't happen to, there's actions in here to add light and to make it darker. If you want to add midtones, you can add extra midtones. I love adding extra light to midtones, so I can run this at 25% or around there. It's just very subtle in that one. Save the highlights. If I run it, it's going to tell you that at full opacity it can make your image feel dull gray. As you can tell, this image right now looks more gray. So you want to adjust it down, or even use this brush and brush into select areas where your highlights are getting blown and you want to pull them back. Like, I could probably use it on the background back there. So hit Control I on my layer mask, get my white brush, and then go and brush over those blown highlights in the background. And it's at 100% still, so we're going to go down to 60. And that just pulls back some of the highlights. Obviously it's completely blown, you cannot save it, no matter what you do. That's why it's always good to start the image that's technically correct. Save the shadows, adds extra light into your shadows, especially in those dark areas. Like wearing black can sometimes start clipping in the black area down here. And you could use this and adjust your opacity and brush it on where you want to bring the shadows back up. Spotlight. It's going to create a spotlight effect, dark center. It's going to be bright and then spotlight's out. And that's at 25%. You can adjust it as needed. We'll just keep that one on there. Add light, and this is a paint on effect. You can use your white brush, you know, set 40, 20, whatever you want to do, and just actually paint where you want to add light if you only want it in select areas. I don't want spotlight on. You can just use that and paint it on. Same with add darkness. If you want to add a little bit more, use your white brush and paint on to where you want to make it a little bit darker. And we got light and dark. It's sort of like the last two. You can add extra definition using your black brush to deepen, white brush to brighten. And sort of like the other two are separate layers. This one's one layer. You can do both on one layer. So I got my black brush set at, I'll do 25%. And I may need to pause this because I told you it lags like crazy. And I'm just using a black brush. It's at 25%. And I'm just brushing over everything but my subject to make it a little bit darker. And then you can alternately hit X, get the white brush, and I do it at a much lower opacity, 10%. That's actually maxing me out there. And just brush it on. You can brush it on the eyes, the face, just anywhere where you want it to be a little brighter. And you can also brush it like on the knees of the jeans to bring out that white distressed look. Get the black brush, go around the edges of the jeans. That's how you create definition, by accentuating the highlights and the shadows. And this is with my layer at 100%. I don't keep it at 100 because it's so dramatic, and the edges, you can get 10% going and try to fade it into the edges better, or like I do, I adjust this down 65% so it fades just a little bit better. So this was what we're starting with, and this is what we're going to be. Backlighter, push play. I'm just going to tell you that use your soft brush, lightly paint around the subject, extend off the canvas to add that warm backlight effect. And I'll show you. I got a white brush. We'll set it at 25. I think should be okay. And I'm just going to brush it around her head. And you see it's brightening up the area behind her. We're going to get a little bit larger of a brush, and I'm going to gradually fade it off the picture here. And get my computer remote to catch up, and that's with it lightly done. And you can adjust this down 70%, 78%. So that was before, and that was just adds a little extra light behind to mimic a backlight effect, or to really enhance your backlight images. These are just quick contrasts, low, mid, high, whatever your personal preference is. You can even just run just the high, which is very strong, as you can tell, and then go and adjust your opacity so you can play with it if the low is too low. And sorry, I was looking at this message. Color kicks. These Hot Touch is for cooler images. Adds this nice warm glow to it. It's at 40%, 100% it's really warm. So if you're really under on the white balance, you can do that. If you're really warm white balance, just run Cool Touch, and it will cool it down quite a bit. And you can use both these, and just for a different effect, use your layer mask and like, we'll go to 80. Brush it off the subject. Maybe you want the background to be a little bit cooler. Obviously not sloppy as I'm doing it here. And adds sort of a tone to the background, a cool tone. That's the beauty of a layer mask. Vivid color just is a color booster. Adds a little bit of oomph on the color. Deep color is another type of color booster. It is designed though to deepen also. Let's just brush it over. Oh, I'm using a black brush on a black mask, which means you won't see it. Alright, there we go. It's made to deepen the color as well as giving it a little bit of a boost. So you can really see the boost or the boost in color and how deep it gets, which is good for those urban-y, like this kind of setting. More of an urban look. We're going to turn the backlight off because the backlighter on. That was some sloppy masking, but just to show you effect, and I can adjust my opacity down so it blends a little bit better. And then color minimizer, like if the grass or something's too vivid on your colors, you can use this and just brush over As you can see, the greens are now really not as neon. And then you can brush it at high opacity, adjust it down, or just lower it on lower opacity. These are outside, they're designed for enhancing outside images, especially like golden fields out in the field. It adds gold tones, lush greens, makes your greens a little bit deeper, darker, and greener. Grass tamer helps grass that's neon green and stuff like that. Just brush it over there. Blue skies helps make your skies a little bit bluer. If you don't have a sky, you can run fake skies, and it's going to run a whole bunch of different gradients that you can brush in. On this image, I can't show you these because they don't really apply. They just look kind of weird. Color corrector, if you run it, it's going to tell you adjust the overall color of your image by opening a folder and increasing each layer as you need. And if you have elements, you'll need to run the ungrouping action to open it up. If you're in Photoshop, just click the little arrow, opens up, and you can see this one is red up, cyan down, so you've got extra cyan in there. You can pull this up and add that red in there. And if you're not sure if there's a different color, the best thing is to maybe click one and go up and down and see if it looks better to you, especially if you're calibrated. Or you can use by numbers, which I don't, but you can add a little red, or if you have too much red, add cyan, green, magenta, blue, and yellow. And there's really quick ways to boost or correct the colors. The overall color cast corrector. There's not really a color cast on this image. I'll take another one and show you how to use that one. But you run it and it tells you, you're going to double click the color box and use your dropper and choose the color that it's supposed to be, like part of the skin, or whatever it is you're going to color cast. If it's a shirt, click the color of the shirt that you want it to be, and just use this brush at like 40% and then brush over the area that's got the color cast. I'm just brushing it on random areas right now to show. At 10%, so it's not really that strong, but you can kind of see that arm. I'll do it at 40 so you can see on this side of the arm it's got a little bit of a red. Maybe from the, no, there's not a brick wall there. So you can see down there. On her arm right here, I brushed that on there, and then I got rid of that cast eye. It's not a major cast. Not one that I really care too much about on that one. Actually, let's run all these so you can see them. You'll see the effect either way. So Golden Fields is the one you want to use over anything, really anything you want to add a gold tone to, not just fields, but. So I'm going to brush over here, and it's going to make it more red because it's already red, so it's golden red. And this green is going to make it more of a yellow green. You can tell I'm at 40%, this is at 100%, it's very strong. And that's why you would adjust it down or use a very light brush. Lush greens, let's run that one really quick. This is going to be a pretty long video. I can tell you this right now. Lush greens, and this is at 40%. I'm trying to use a higher opacity so you can see it at the highest effects. And you can tell it's much more green back there, and much more deeper. Grass tamer. If your grass is too vibrant, use it to adjust it and play with your opacities until it achieves the color you'd like it to be. I actually like the greens back here, but this is just to show you what it does. Okay. Alright, now there we go. So if you pay attention to the green area, you'll see where it was greener and now it is green. And this top layer you can even adjust to reduce more green if it's still too much down, like that. So that really got rid of a lot of that green back there, and that yellow, vibrant green. Blue Skies, I can't really run. I can run it, and I'll just show you what it does to her blue jeans. But if you have Skies, it's going to deepen it and add a little boost of blue. Which she's got blue in her hair, so I can add that a little bit there. And even on her jeans. This is at 60%, so it's ridiculously strong right now. I say up there, there's not any detailing. So as you can tell by the jeans and the hair how blue that gets. And that's what it does to your Skies. So I say you can even run it on blue jeans to make them bluer. Fake Skies, we'll run that one. Okay, this one, after you run it, it says open the folder, select your Sky to replace your bond Sky, and then use a brush to black brush to brush it off. Elements users, you want the ungrouping action to open it up so you can see it. And there's where you're turning them on. Purple, golden, a colorful sunset. So it's really what you want to achieve. You can even layer them together. Second. Okay, sorry. And you can layer them, like I said, and do that. And you can even, if you're in Photoshop, put a layer mask on this actual folder and then go in and layer or mask off the whole thing so you can play with the opacities of all of them. So if I do that, hit Alt, and it's going to use a black, so I can easily just go in and it's at 60%, so it's strong right now. And if you have a blown Sky, you can just add a little bit of color. And you can play, like I said, with the colors to get the color of sunset you want. So there, really quick on the fake Skies. Now is the skin kicks. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm also going to, oh, I don't need this one. I'm going to group these for, alright, so smooth skin, and you can run it. The side kicks are all made to just do quick adjustments on there before you run the workflow actions. This is a skin smoothing. She obviously really doesn't need it, but to show you what it does, I mean, I show really well because, like I said, she doesn't really need it. I'll have to get one of my other images to show you a better way of, which you can see right here where it's smoothing it out. Which it smoothed it just a little bit because, like I said, her skin's pretty much flawless because she's still very young. And this is at 100% with it's a very light smooth skin. If you want a more detailed one, it's in the, where's my other set? Make Me Wonderful. The smoother, or skin smoother, that one is a lot more detailed and stronger. Or if you want, you can just duplicate this one to smooth out more and keep duplicating it until you get that's super smooth. Obviously too smooth. Spot remover, if you run that one. If your cloning tool didn't remove them all or you forgot to, just run the action, and any spots you have, you can brush right over them and get rid of it. Just use a white brush, set it at 40 to 50%. I like to keep it pretty high. Alright, sorry for the massively long video here too. Spot remover, and you can't tell because I don't have any really big spots on her besides what's on my computer screen that you can't see. And basically just click on the spots that they have on their face that you want to get rid of, or maybe here under eyes, those lines. It just softens it up, and I'll show you when I brush over her eyebrow how big of a difference it makes. It really smooths it out. So if you need extra skin smoothing trouble areas, use the spot remover and brush it on. It's very strong, so you'll want to use a lighter brush or adjust the opacity down on those. I'll delete these two because I won't need them on her. Tanning Beauty. These all have, I'll tell you what they do. They all have instructions. Use your brush to add extra color, warmness for especially pale skin. She obviously is not pale, but we're going to use it anyway so you can see what it looks like on her. And that's really strong right now. This can deepen it up some. It's very subtle on the deepen. And then this is the tan part. And this is obviously at 100% super strong. And there's the difference between deep and at low. So then you can play with the opacities and add a little extra tan, especially for pale skins. This works really well. Then you can delete, reduce red skin. If you got extra red in the skin, you can use this to brush it on. And these are all grouped together, and you can even go in and adjust. This is magenta reducer, red reducer, and red reducer 2 with brightening. So you can even turn off one of the layers if it's too much on one area. Like I'm running it over her skin and it's taking all that red tone out, which is why it's leaving a yellowy tone. So that is what that one looks like. If they have got that fake bag, if they're too tan, you can use this brush and just brush over those areas where they're tan. And it helps reduce some of that look of the glowy orange fake tan. And most of these she doesn't need because her natural skin tone is nice. Creamy Skin Boost is just a where they didn't pop up on me here. Add a creamy warm skin boost. Use your soft white brush. Brush over the skin. This is one I use on all my images. To the skin. It adds a yellow and red tone. I'm at 60%, so it's very strong. And I would adjust it down. And it boosts the mid-tones and adds some warm tones into it. Still have a smile. This is whitening brush for the teeth. Just brush over the teeth. Cheeky, it adds, you can pick a color. It's just a color layer. And you can brush it over the cheeks like that. Obviously it's really strong and very sloppily done. But this to show you what it does. Smackers. It is just a lip popper. And you can brush it over the lips and it deepens them and pops those lips out just a bit more of a definition on the lips. There you go. Bright eyes. You can tell it's an eye brightener. And that's, like I said, I'm using a very high opacity brush than normal. This to show you the effects easier. So that's bright eyes. Baby blues enhance blue eyes. Green envy enhances green eyes. Hazel helper actually can help both. Hazel, brown, and green. Browns and hazels is what it's mainly made for. So do that. And you can kind of see where the looks much more brown. Under eye circles, it tells you what to do. Double click the color. Choose the color of the skin right underneath the circle, and then brush it on underneath the eyes to get rid of those under eye circles. Super simple. Skinny, obviously she doesn't need it, but if you want to slim someone down, it's best for, if you hit play, it tells you when there's only one person in the image. And we're gonna run it. Alright, there it is. So before, after. That's just a little skinny. You can do a lot of skinny, even slim it up more. And it helps also sometimes with lens distortion on the edges using different lenses. Sharpening is an overall sharpener. And it just sharpens up your image. You can tell the difference a little bit sharper. And if you want to add some more clarity, run closer crystal clarity. And you'll want to put over your sharpen layer because that one is at 100% right now. So that adds just a little more clarity, and you can adjust that down or up, or you can use a brush. Paint on, Sharpie. You want to make sure these are all above the sharpen layer if you have the sharpen layer on and turned on at 100%, because it's just a replica of the background layer. So let's zoom into the eyes a little more, or wherever you want to sharpen up just a little bit more. And as you can tell, it looks kind of fake, but that's just to show you with the Sharpie turned on. It sharpens it up quite a bit. So it's great for sharpening eyes and stuff like that. Daring Details is great for bringing out textures and stuff like that. I'm just brushing on it here. Or if the HDR effect is what you're wanting for after, I'm just brushing on some of the clothing and maybe the shoes. It really brings out the details and gives it that grungier effect. It's great for brick walls and anything like that where you want to bring out a lot of the detailing. I don't really need it on this one. Bokeh and Warm Blur I showed earlier. So let's group that together again. And this was before, and this is after. And this is just with the sidekicks. I haven't ran any workflow, so you can actually edit an entire image with just your sidekicks. And that's just simple, quick fixes on there. And I don't know if I want to stop this and make a new video or not. I'll just continue. Actually, that's quite a bit more actions. It's already a 30-minute video of just the sidekicks to go over all of them in detail for you. So I'm just going to stop it now and create a separate video to go over all the workflow One Directions and show you what all they do. Hope you all enjoyed my talking for 30 minutes.